All right, so I'm here live with Assimilate Data Science Project. So the idea here is that each couple weeks, I make a little bit more progress, and I think data science in particular is a great one to iteratively make changes to something, and try out more ideas. And this repo here, Nogi BJJ Data Science Projects, one of the big things I'm just kind of hyper focused on actually is this concept of life expectancy in the US. And I'm really interested in like what are some of the root causes for the low expectancy in the US. And so I'm going to treat this like I would treat it a normal data science project. I think also I'm going to throw in some other tools as well. And one of the ones that is actually kind of a cool one to use for data science that is almost maybe non-intuitive is to also use chat gpt. So I'm going to put a link here for that as well, and let's go ahead and put a reference to this. And so why I think this is a cool data science tool is that that you can actually get some, uh, essentially some exploratory data analysis for free, or some ideas for free by just using Chat GPT. And so, in fact, I was actually playing around with this yesterday. I was saying, like, what are the top 10 countries for life expectancy for women in the world? Right, so this is kind of a nice uh, a nice way to get some ideas for how to go further with this. So I'm not able to do that. So okay, well let's try with oh well, here we go. So we see Japan, Spain, Switzerland, Singapore, France, Italy, Australia, South Korea, Canada, and Israel. So I think women is actually maybe a better one, more specific than just all genders, because in particular, I think that in many scenarios, women have only recently got more, rights and ability to have equal pay, etc. And so, in some sense, it might be a more this is my hypothesis. It might be a more sensitive thing to dig into in terms of figuring out life expectancy. So I think this is really cool that I can actually play around with this. So what I could also do as well is I could actually use this to help me write a little bit of code for data science. So I could say, uh, you know, bring these into a data frame. So I could say, create a Python pandas, data frame using following fields, so I can explore data science, right? So I can even be like, hey, just build this code for me. There you go. Right. So I can just say, hey, write the code for me so I can just get started. Okay. So we can kind of come back and forth here. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to go back now to my data science repo here. And if you remember, I had a code space here, which is pretty awesome because it is actually a really powerful place to develop code, and it actually has reasonable Jupyter support, but it also has the ability to work with the local file system and work with Visual Studio Code. So my preference is I've actually leaned a little bit more towards not only notebook workflow, where I used to be a little more notebook only. I'm leaning a little bit more towards having the ability to write little scripts and do more stuff in a full-fledged development environment. And so if I looked at things before, one of the things that I looked at was, get a list of G20 countries from the internet. So we see Japan, this is for all genders. We have 84. We have Australia 83, Italy 82. So what I could do is I could also create another. Let's just run all these real quick. So let's just run all. And let's just use the one that's a virtual environment. There we go. So here's our pandas data frame. life expectancy. And what I also could do is I could also make a new one. So just we'll paste in that code. We already have pandas. We don't need that. We have some female data. So this is, and then we could say df female life expectancy. Let's do this real quick. Go. Ooh, where's it? Data is not defined because we need to say female data. Right, so we got this one. So there we go. So here's these countries. So we see here that we've got Japan, Spain, Switzerland, Singapore, France, Italy, Australia, and if we look the difference between that data frame and the other one, which was a nice little description of this, I think we saw that in this scenario, it said Hong Kong was a little bit higher, that data, but we can see that the countries are a little bit different when you look at female, which again, I like female because it could be a little bit more sensitive to what's going on in the country. That's again my hypothesis. So I like this data set because it it's able to actually get a little bit more into the weeds here. So we have Japan, Spain, Switzerland, Singapore, France, Italy, Australia, South Korea, Canada, Israel. And I guess what's kind of curious about this is, and we could put a link here at the top that says the data source. Data source is Open AI Chat GPT, right? So I don't know where it got it from. I don't know if you can ask it. We could probably ask it like, uh, where did you get your data set from? Uh, oh, is it fictional? Well, let's do it again. Let's say, what is the life expectancy for females in the following countries? Keep spelling this. And oh, I didn't. Let's put this. There we go. See if we can figure this out. If not, I can just go back to the other data that I think I had, which was it's just hanging, not doing anything. Well, let's go back to this data source, which if I go to my repo here, we can find child mortality, World Bank. Here we go. That's the data set. So if we go to World Bank, life expectancy female. See, that's the one I'm much more interested in. World. There we go. Let's download this data set. So this one's CSV file. Because again, my hypothesis is it could be a little more sensitive to what's really going on in a country. And let's see if I can just drag this data set. I see the data set locally, and I'm just gonna throw it up into a sheet here. So let's go here, and I'm going to just put it here, and we can just look at the difference here. Yeah, so we can just rename this, and we can say life expectancy. We can say female life expectancy 2. So not bad. We have actually some pretty good new data. I can probably delete that as well. And then if we go back to this thing, maybe we can ingest that one as well. So a lot of times when I'm first working on a project, I do a lot of ingestion. And let's do another one. And we'll just call this FDE equals. And we'll call this one FLE 2020 CSV. So we'll do something like that. We'll do FDE here. Say FLE 2022. That network. FDE. Oh, FLE. I want to say FLE. There we go. And if I go to this one, it's similar. And then how did I pull? So let's do something like this. We'll do the same thing. We'll go back up to this. And we'll add another cell. And we'll say FLE. FLE, is that what I did? FLE, yeah, FLE. FLE, and we'll say 2022. We'll sort this. Hmm. 2022 is not in the index. Well, we can just look, what's in the index because we can go here and we can say FLE.columns. And we can say, 2021. So 2021. So let's do that. Let's do that. There we go. And what do we got here? And we can say dot .NA. That work? I guess maybe we do need to look at 2020 because there's a lot of missing data. So let's just do that. And what do we got? So we got the same thing. We got Hong Kong, Japan, Macau, which is interesting, Korea, Singapore. But what if we want to do? Can you do a limit with Panda? Does it do head 10? Do that. There we go. So we got the top 10 countries here. Wow, Bermuda, that's interesting. 86, France 85, Australia. So maybe we want to look at the top. And then if we go to top 20, what do we get? Top 20. And we see that, make this go down a little bit. We've got China, Japan, Singapore, Bermuda, France, Faroe Islands, France, Australia, Switzerland, Spain, Channel Islands, Finland, Italy, Malta, Iceland, Luxembourg, Sweden. So we have countries, China and Japan appear to be in Korea. So Asian countries and Singapore are just dominating, which is very interesting. And then we have some islands, which, that makes me suspect, but I don't know if there's enough data, but maybe, I don't know. That is interesting though. And then we've got France, Australia, Switzerland, and Spain, Italy, Malta, Iceland. So we have another island here. And what happens if we go a little bit bigger? What do we see here? So now if we go to add a little bit more, we have Euro area, which I'm not sure where Euro area is, but I think this is a good. I like this data set. The good, the top 25 here. What can we like pull out of this data set here? So I'm gonna write this out to a file. So what I can do is I can make another cell, and we can say dot to CSV. We can say top 25 uh, female life expectancy 20, 2020. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So here we go. That looks good. So now that I wrote that, this looks like a good place to start. I like this. So we've got country name 2020. We have so now I think the question is of these countries, and I guess I could even plot this. I could even take this and put this into like a like a question inside the README or something like that. Like we could just say like, well, let's do a get poll. Let's do get poll. Okay, good. And then let's just say like a question. Let's just do question. So why are these top 25 countries for female life expectancy what can we know about these countries? What can we find out about these countries? About that's what I'm really, really curious about, because I believe there will be some really good stuff here. What can we determine? So here's where it would be nice to collect um, some other columns, and I think, and so I'm going to do a hypothesis, and I'm going to say we probably want to look at gun violence. I would say that would be a big one. We'll say data to collect. Data to collect. We'll look at gun violence. We want to look at healthcare. We also want to look at probably obesity, rate of obesity. Um, look at. We can also say like drug addiction rate, and I believe another one would be traffic and potentially income inequality. And I believe as well traffic accidents. Don't know about population, but population size. I doubt that's a factor, but we don't know. But why not? We can just start collecting this data. Education level would be another one to look at. Um, like the median level. Um, so maybe we could, for obesity, we could do like BMI, something like that. And then healthcare, like, is it universal healthcare? Healthcare, maybe like guns, per per citizen or something like this. Right? We could pull up something like that. What like this would be income inequality would be like the Gini coefficient, something like that. Population size, education level. I think that's a good place to start. So let's do that. So we'll check all this in. We'll just say get status, hit add here, hit commit, adding information about data to collect. So how would I get this? The I mean, gun violence would be kind of an interesting. Population is probably going to be one of the easier ones to get. Um, and here's where things get nasty, right? Because um, now I have to find and sort all the values and all that kind of stuff. So what we could do is, what if I go back to here and I just say, go down to the very bottom and just make a another one here, and we'll just import this thing again, and we'll just call this top 20 equal to df dot read csv. This could be top. Well, I can just grab this name. It would be rename. It's going to be this file. It's going to be this one. We can say top 20. We just do the countries. Whoops, top 20. Oh, no, has no. Oh, PD. Read CSV. There you go. Top. Okay, and then we can do top 20. We could say country name. There you go. We got these countries. Now, I am curious if we can just be lazy and say to this thing, give me the population of the following 20 countries. See what happens. And this would be a great way to do data science. Too many requests. Slow down. Let's try it again. Try again. Huh. I wonder if it's the I wonder if I can just grab it like this. I need to print it out without the numbers. Well, what I can do is do this. Can I just do dot to lists? Can you do like a list? Yeah, there we go. To list, and we say countries equals country. There we go. There we go. There we have these countries. So we have these countries here. And if I go to this thing and I just reset everything and I say, what is the population of each of these countries? Again, I don't know if it's smart enough to do this, but let's see. Really? You should have the population for this. We'll try again. Oh, there we go. Now, we can double check it as well. That's weird how it actually worked. There we go. Hong Kong, Japan, Spanish. So let's double check this. So I'm going to grab this before it goes away, because that would be awesome if it gave it to me. And then if I just throw this into like a scratch pad or something, we'll just say like scratch pad. And do that. Let's double check. What is the population of Hong Kong? Right. So it says 7.4 million. So it looks close. And what is the population of Japan? 125 million. Yeah, looks spot checking looks pretty good. What is the population of Portugal? Yeah, so it looks good. So we could probably make another data frame, right? So we could just do you're trying to think what's the easiest way to get this imported into our notebook, the laziest possible way would be to if I could just make it a CSV real quick, because I could just say country name, comma, if I got a scratch pad. I have to clean this up a little bit. Here. Well, so I could just do this. I could do Control F. I could find those, and I could just replace them with a comma. There we go. Replace all. Well, that was easy. And then I think that this comma is really going to cause some problems importing, unfortunately. But what I could do actually is I could undo the last change, and I could replace all commas with I could replace all commas with nothing, basically. So they're all removed. And then I just have to remember that Korea, I got to put that one back. And then I got to replace this with a comma. So that would be the laziest way to do data processing. And then I say country name, and I say population. So in theory, I could slurp this back in and then combine those two data frames in theory. So let's see here. If I go to another code cell and we say pop is equal to PD, and we'll say scratch. We'll call that scratch.txt. There we go. Wait. Oh, I think it's above one level. Scratch. No file. Well, let's move it in there. Let's move it into projects. Let's rename this and go back here. and do this. Scratch. So misspelled it. Expected 2 fields, saw 5, saw 3. Country name. So delimiter. Well, I could cheat here and I could just grab this and I could just pull it into Excel and then bring it back, which is what I'm going to do. Sometimes I do stuff like that. So I'll just go here. I'll go to my local machine, or I'll go to Google Sheets. Sheets. I'll just grab some data here, and we'll just do something like that. And what we could do is just do something like this. We could pull up a something similar to this. That kind of sucks too. Not exactly what I wanted to do. Well, maybe I'm just trying too hard here. What I could do is I just need to pull the numbers out of here. So what I could do is just write a script, and I could just say do a code block, and we could just say for say open my file is equal to open. We can say content.read prints content. But that what happens if we say content.split that, and that didn't exactly work either, unless we can grab that line in content line.split. I'm going to do that. We'll print that. New line. Yeah, this is actually, I'm just going to be even lazier than this. Is I'm just going to pull this into a local spreadsheet, and we'll go to sheets here. And I'll just pull it in that way. So we'll go here. And let's see if we can grab this thing. So actually what I can do is I can download this, and then I can go to import it into an Excel app. But I can say an import. That's one of the ways we could do this. So we could say file. Well, actually, now that I think about it, there's so many ways to solve this problem that are lazy. I'm a huge fan of lazy. What I'm going to do is just this. Like I was spending way too much time. All I need to do is this. I just do this. do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, delete these. It's just shocking how inefficient I was when I'm only dealing with 20 pieces of data. So this should be really simple to solve. And all I need to do is this, like that. And we can go here. We can grab this data. And then I can go back to here. Boy, it would be nice if this was in a better form. I wonder if there's an editor extension here that lets me edit a CSV more, like if this was in a column. Well, actually, I can just download it and then put it back in. So I'll do that. So I'll just download this, download, and I'll pull that locally into Excel. And we'll go Excel. And then I'll add another column. There we go, called population. And I'm going to delete the other rows. So it's kind of nice, actually, that I can basically export this locally. And I'll put this on my desktop. And then I can, now that I've got it on my desktop, what I can do is I can actually throw it back here and I can replace it. Look at that. There you go. So that's pretty cool. And then if I go back to this, what I can do here is just get rid of this garbage that I did, get rid of this garbage that I did. And what I can do is actually re-import this, and I can actually look at it again because now I have new data that I was able to pull down. And now we can say top 20. There you go. So now we have new data. So here's where I could start to do things like, well, are they correlated? So if I did this correlation, right, what happens that there's a negative correlation with, let's see here. Let's run it again. Country name. Wait, where's my data set here? Oh, here we go. So we have this. And if we say top 20 again, and if we look at, there appears to be a negative correlation with the population and life expectancy, which is interesting. So we could play around with this, but this is not a bad start to build some stuff for population. So again, I'll just save this, which I did. I'll check it in and keep going. So we were able to add population for life expectancy. So probably next, in a couple weeks, I'll build out more things here that allow me to dig into some of the details about how to get this working. And so I'll probably pull in gun violence, healthcare, all that other stuff. All right, so I'll see you in a couple weeks.